everyone, it's Brennan. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. Today we're talking about all the books I want to read in February. I'm going to start out by talking about the Sugar and Spice book club pick with Ginger Snap Reads Amanda and Kirsten from Kirsten's Corner. I will link their channels below, but they're doing a book club every month and it is romance based and it is right up my alley. And this month the book pick is The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is a new release. It came out I think like January 26th or something like that, and this is a rom-com and it centers around two radio co-hosts and they want to do like a series about exes coming together and talking about, I guess, relationship stuff, and their boss wants them to pose as exes, and I think they kind of have like some hostility towards each other already. So I'm sure this will be a really great, fun, rom-com-y time, and I've already heard really good things about it, and I'm excited to read it and talk about it with the Sugar and Spice book club. Now we will go into the books that I am currently reading at this moment. I am 100 pages in to Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This book is so painful. If you read Empire of Storms, then you'll know like it ends on such the cliffhanger. Everything's all messed up, and now we have to figure it out in these 950 or so pages and save the world, basically. This is the last book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and this is a young adult fantasy series. It centers around our main character, Selena. She, at the beginning of the story, is a teenage assassin. She's been a slave for a year because of some happenings that happened in the book of short stories, The Assassin's Blade, and she gets broken out of her prison basically so that she can be in the running to become the king's champion. So she in the first book competes against these other people to be the king's champion, but that was so long ago, doesn't even matter anymore. But now Selena and her friends have to save this world from a dark power. Does that sound like the setup of several fantasy series? Yes, but this fantasy series has fae beings, and if you know anything about fae beings, you know that there's going to be romance in here. There's so much romance, not just with Selena, but with all of our side characters. I'm so invested in their relationships, honestly, maybe a little more than Selena's relationship. So this book has magic, but it's been repressed in this continent for the last decade. We go to different continents in this series. There are witches, and their plots are just so good. There are shapeshifters, there are healers, there are demons, there are just so many different things going on in this series. There's lots of good combat. There are lots of evil characters. Maeve is being so evil in the start of this book. Does that explain anything to you? There are godlike beings. It's really good, and I'm really excited to read this month, except I'm not ready for the series to end, but I have several other Sarah J. Maas books that I can dive into also. The Kindle book I'm currently reading is the fourth book in the Zodiac Academy series by Carolyn Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I just spent several minutes talking about this in my December wrap-up. This series is I would call this new adult fantasy romance. It's definitely a bully romance. If you don't like bully romances, please don't read this book so you don't have to judge me. So we follow twins, and they are taken out of their place in our real world and transported to this fantasy fae zodiac world. And it turns out they're the long lost princesses. This fourth book is called Shadow Princess. I don't know if I said that. And our fae people in this world have different powers based on their zodiac signs and their elemental abilities, which are so cool. So water, earth, fire, and air. And we are in this academy learning how to harness our powers. You can also do spells. There's also different orders of fae. So they have their fae form, and then they have their, like, some of them are vampires, some of them are werewolves, some of them are dragons, and some of them are several other things. This series is so good. Like I mentioned in my other video, it's like if you take Throne of Glass, but you make someone like Penelope Douglas write it, this is what you would get. This is so good. I love this series. I am just having the best time reading this series, and I can read these books so fast. Like, they're pretty long, but oh my gosh, I cannot put them down once I pick them up. So definitely excited to read Shadow Princess, and I think I'm gonna hold off on the fifth book until probably early March. I'm trying to make them last. There are 6 books out right now, and a 7th book comes out in December, and I love them. Okay, so the books I want to pick up this month, I want to read Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the first book in her Brown Sisters trilogy. I think it will just be a trilogy. The third book comes out in March, and I have not read this series, but I really, really want to. It's a romance series. And in this first book, we follow our character Chloe, and she deals with, I think it's fibromyalgia. So she has chronic pain, and she's just trying to live a comfortable life. But she has a near-death experience, and then she's like, hey, I've got all these other things I want to do. And then she develops a romance with her, like the superintendent of her apartment building. And I've heard it's so good. And I think these books get pretty steamy, so I'm here for that. So I'm really excited to read some romance in February. There are a couple shorter Kindle books that I want to pick up this month, and one of them is Forever Wild. It is I think it's like a novella in K.A. Tucker's Simple Wild series. I think it's called Simple Wild. It's the Simple Wild series, the Wild series, I don't know. This is an Alaskan romance series, and in our first book we follow our main character Calla. She lives in Toronto, but she gets asked to come to Alaska to see her father, who's just been told that he's sick, and they haven't really had much of a relationship over the last decade or so. And her dad owns this charter plane company, and she develops a relationship with one of his grumpy pilots, and it's really good. I read the second book, well, I read both of these books, The Simple Wild and Wild at Heart, in January, and really enjoyed them. So in February, I'm really excited to continue on with this series and read Forever Wild. And the next little Kindle book I want to read is The Sweetest by Tessa Bailey. She just released this recently, and it is a little, I think it's like 200 so pages. It's set in New York, I believe, and our female character wants to be a dancer and like try out for this dance thing, and the guy over it, his son, is like a baker in New York. So she goes to him to try to like get in with his dad so she can get this position, but then obviously they fall in love. And she doesn't want him to find out that she started their relationship with the intention of using him. I think I've heard really good things about it so far, and I mean, look at this cover. It is going to be the perfect read for February. And then if I get a chance on Kindle, I may pick up Exodus by Kate Stewart. She just released the third book in this Ravenhood. It was the Ravenhood duet, and now I guess it's the Ravenhood trilogy. But she released The Finish Line in January, and I haven't read Exodus, so I'll try to read Exodus. We'll see. This TBR is getting a little ambitious for a month with 28 days in it. And for audiobooks, right now I'm listening to The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Teacoltz. And this is a book that I picked up as it's a recommended reading for one of my classes I'm taking this semester about the physiology of chronic diseases. I love books like these that, like, I don't want to say tell it how it is, but really dig into the research that we have on dietary patterns and how they affect our health, and how little basis a lot of the recommendations like by the USDA have backing them up. So this is going into fat and the research that is out there about how it really impacts your body, if it impacts your body. And I really like this. I mean, like, spoiler alert, this is talking about, I mean, the like caveat to this is like why butter and dairy should be included in a diet or something like that. I hope you'll see it right here. Really enjoying this so far. I really like how she has gone into detail in this first part about how she picked all the research that she's reading on it. Really interesting for someone like me. And I'll probably read The Song of Achilles. I have the audiobook for it this month for my Pisces video that I'm hoping to read. Pisces season starts middle of February. Posse season is my season. So I think I'll read The Song of Achilles. People love this book, I hear, for the most part. It's a Greek mythology story, and I think there's like a really devastating love story in it, which makes me feel Pisces emotions, I guess. Listen, I'm just excited to read this. I hear it's really good. And I've had it like on my radar for a really long time. Speaking of Pisces stuff, we will wrap this video up. I just have this short little Pisces book, The Art of Living Well and Finding Happiness According to Your Star Sign. It's by Sally Kirkman. And I just wanted to read it for a vlog I'm hoping to do this month into March. And I just think it will be a fun time. I'll vlog myself and my thoughts on this. You are a Pisces. You are the romantic dreamer and idealist of the zodiac. That's me. Plus, I've been reading Zodiac Academy And I don't know, I guess I'm just feeling celestial this year. So excited to read this. Excited to read all the books that I have on this TBR. Let me know what you're planning to read in February. I would love, love, love to hear what books are on your radar. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one.